Welcome back everybody to the Gameshow Global eSports Cup. My name is Dabu and you are watching Azubu and also enemy against Winterfox. We had a thrilling first map with a lot of weird rounds being won. Now we are up for the second one. It is Cash coming up now. There we go. We won't miss the knife round this time around. I've been awake even though I didn't have coffee. I feel like I could take a best of 3 to the third map and possibly even a few overtimes. So let's keep our fingers crossed for a really tight matchup here. The two, well, not arch rivals, but you know, they are domestic rivals and they want to qualify for the LAN finals later on in February, at the start of February. And one of those steps towards the LAN finals is winning against the other one, depending on where you look at it. For Winterfox, it's winning against enemy. For enemy, it's winning against Winterfox. And the winner of that will face off against Cloud9, I guess tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So Cloud9 is yet to play with Stewie, their new addition, who has really caught a huge Thesis storm. Or Storm of Thesis. I'm not supposed to say that word on stream. Or Steam, for that matter. And we are live with the pistol round. So let's cut the crap and start casting as I'm supposed to. Mainline and Lucky work their magic on the A-bomb. So while their teammates are all crammed up at B and outside of B, they don't really push forward. XP3 with that set angle already opens it up. And Lex with another one. This looks very darn bad for enemy. Down to 2 men, Kuster and Uber. The last hopes. Bad flash by Flowstick. Oh, was that supposed? Nah. It was still kind of a pop flash. XP3 with a second frag of the round will make it even less unlikely for the terrorists to win it. And no, we are still having 2 players there. It's Rio still on the server that is confusing me. It is the coach of enemy. And that is just yeah, I thought that it was weird. Don't worry. I'm sorry. I hope that he will join the coach spot. Yeah, there we go. So the confusion is over. He joined the coach and enemy lost that round, but they managed to plant the bomb. And again, they are not going for the save. They're not going for the early weapon round, but they are going for the early force with Tech 9s. It is very dangerous on this map, though. It is the right call to make, in my opinion. Cache is one of those maps where the A-bomb set can simply be overrun by terrorists that figure out how to check all the corners correctly. And if they have a few smokes, which they have, they can definitely get themselves at least another bomb plant. Who's is already in there while XP3 picked up the frag. He just stings Anger in the face. Makes him cool off a little bit, but Lex is right around the corner. Intercepts the bomb plant, and now it's a 2v2 still. Relics and Lucky with those kills onto Lex and XP3. The bomb will be planted in a different position this time. Relics gets his hands on a FAMAS. So the weaponry actually favors the terrorists. They still have a flash and a smoke. So their equipment gets tossed out to slow down the CTs. That peek by Relics was quite unfortunate. And Lucky goes down to Desi. I don't know why enemy went for those peaks at that moment in time. They could have waited maybe a little longer. Played the positions. But I think they realized that the CTs will check out all the angles and they will, you know, just subtract everything. If they are not here, and if they are not here, and if they are not here, there are only those positions left. And then 2 CTs will push you from the different angles, and then it's very hard for yourself to cover. But they managed to plant the bomb and deal a lot of damage to the CTs. So we have Dust 2 all over again. We have the CTs on low money, and we have the terrorists with a chance to upset them rather soon. Enemy will focus on the B-bomb side this time around, just trying to get another plant here. And good frag by Kusev, but Desi with the double kill. Now he's picking up the pace a little bit. A very young guy, very skilled at that. Kusev with 14 HP still stands, but no armor for him. And, well, he can't be tagged anymore because he goes down if he gets tagged. But the lack of armor made it hard for him to collect those kills. Winterfox make it 3-0. But they lost a lot of players again. Maybe not a lot, but you know, 2 guys. In a round that was quite weak for the terrorists. So enemy did force buy quite a few times, but they did the damage they wanted to do, even though they obviously wanted to win a round with it. At least they kept the CT's economy low, so if they win this round, they can make Winterfox save already. So it's gonna be 3-1, 3-2, and then we have another weapon round or another force buy, depending on how many weapons Winterfox save. And then we could even see a 3-3. Enemy with a very good chance at starting to get rounds here. Bakus is already tagged on the outside of B, has to retreat a little bit. His teammates just holding defensively. He's the only guy to have initiative here on the terrorist side. They put a lot of pressure on his shoulders. He is able to cope with that. He knows how much pressure is on his shoulders. But he's yet to see anyone really. So he didn't even have the chance to pick up a frag. Now the terrorists will make the move into middle. It gets a little late in the round, so they figure we have to do something. Even though Kusa couldn't open up B yet, we can maybe do that with our rifles. Walking in through the vents, Flowsick with some curious peek, picking up Kusa. Now, oh, 180 degree by Flowsick. Goes down 2 relics though, but he's alone, and the bomb site already gets reinforced by the CTs. He is lost inside. Now, as soon as he goes for the plant, they would have pushed him 6 seconds on the clock. No chance at all. Winterfox get that 4th round, and this time, funnily enough, the strongest buy so far for the terrorists results in the least decisive round. That means their money is slowly but surely getting there. 7 frags for Desi, 5 for XP3. Enemy has 6 on relics and 0 on Uber and mainline. They really have to step it up if enemy wants to have a chance here on the second map. It is their map pick, and they go for the force buy again. Loser bonus is helping them on that. Kusta and mainline, the last man standing. Sorry. But Anger closes them out. So Winterfox, you know, those first few rounds on a map, they are always a little 50-50, because you don't know how your opponent will play it this time around. They obviously scrim against each other, they know each other very well from all the different tournaments they've been to, but they don't know if they use this or this setup, and it's kind of feeling each other out a little bit. Oh, wow, and that is not feeling each other out, that is just simply outstanding performance by XP3 again. Double kill for him. And that was unexpected for the terrorists. They didn't expect to be pushed and to be killed off as quickly as that. So those first few rounds always 50-50 in a way that you don't know how your opponent plays it. And now Winterfox knows how the terrorists approach this map, and they got a good foothold here with a 5-0 lead. They will probably make it 6-0 in a second. Goose is already down to 2. And Lucky is not lucky at all. Huh, that pun. Sorry, I had to do it at least once in this matchup. He's not even spotting an enemy. And another one! But this time he spots one. Flowsick goes down, good headshot. But Anger with the trade now. Kusta has to do it on his own with his 2 HP. And at least he could be tagged by a flash grenade without going down. Will be flashed by it instead. And Desi mobs him up. 6-0 for Winterfox. They could have made it way more decisive than they did. So they lost a good amount of money again. Which you can see on Flowsick. The rest of his squad has enough though, so they could potentially even drop a weapon for him. Enemy is really refusing to go for any saves at all. They once again force it up. AK for Uber. So they have a good chance here, but they want to rush it. I think they just want to go in there without stopping. He already spotted Anger in the back of the bomb site. The CTs with a quick rotation from middle into the A bomb site. An enemy loses the first few players. Anger with a good angle. Good job by him. A third one goes down, and Uber can't even plant the bomb. Anger with the quad. He was alone at the start of the round, and he didn't need anyone at all. I mean, he might be angry at his teammates for snatching that one frag from him. And I think that Valve, after implementing gloves and glove skins, which is inevitable, they could implement spray again, because so many people still get the frags and then turn to the floor and want to spray their logo or whatever, and then they could get spray capsules and handle it like stickers. That would be really cool. So the terrorists with their full buy now, but the lack of grenades will make it quite hard for them to push the CTs back into the deeper parts of the map. But the frags will help them. Kusten Uber with the ones to open it up. Flowseeker with a double spray from behind. Double headshot onto Uber and Lucky. Even though he gets traded and it resolves into a 2v2, it's still possible for Winterfox to salvage this round. After it was a 4v3, it is slipping away from them. Ang and Relics make it a 1v1 with the trades. Consecutive frags by both teams. Relics plants the bomb. At least the C4 is out of his hands. But Desi comes in from behind, and Relics already gave away his position again. Now, was that his plan, or was he just a little bit too nervous? He thinks that Desi is coming in from main. And that's the right call. He spots him at the right moment. Desi was not prepared for Relics to stand out in the open. An enemy have the first round on the board. It was about time. We had mainline on 007. Now he's on 008. But it doesn't matter. They are on the board finally. And Relics clutching that 1v1 deserves that MVP star. Now Winterfox still have enough money for at least this round. If they save 2 weapons or even 1 weapon, they will most likely force it up anyway. And possibly drop 1 weapon for their teammates. So enemy has to at least win this round, and they need to sweep the floor with the CTs. But the weaponry is not too strong either. They have 1 Tech-9 in the Galil for Lucky and Mainline. Luckily for them, Kusta has that AWP. Next in Flowseek though with the frags. Really important ones at that. Flowseek doing a good job here in vents. Just having the right timing, having the good position, and holding on to middle control is so important for the CTs. If they lose it, they will also lose the round most likely. Relics pushed through to CT spawn. He checked out the B bomb set already, and Desi was completely oblivious to that. 3v3, the terrorist already moved the bomb inside. Good job by Relics, not only clutching the previous one, but making it possible for enemy to also win this. Let's see if they will actually do it. Relics being tagged down to 6 HP, but Lucky disposes of legs. Lucky with another spray in middle, making it a 1v3. I almost forgot about Relics here, who's more like a zombie than a real player. Anger is the man to stay alive though, and you know what he's capable of doing, especially today. Quick shot! But then Mainline trades him instantly. Enemy with a 2nd round on the board, and stringing them together is the more important one, because the CTs have to figure out what they want to do with those $8,000, $6,000 and $7,000. And conveniently for them, Lex has timed out. So that usually you would think, oh no, a timeout. They were at 7-2. They were having a good time. They had the momentum, and now they have that disconnect. But as you can see, Lex is already back, and they decide to buy Deagles only. So no weird force buy, whatever they could have come up with. If they were Hellraisers, they would have probably bought 2 M4s and some Deagles and armor. But they don't want to jeopardize their own economy for the upcoming round, because the upcoming one will be a very strong buy, even with an AWP, if they want to do so. Desi still has 4.4, so he will be the one dropping the AWP. Enemy, though, came back to their feet after being KO'd for a brief moment in time. And a big part in that was Relics. Now the terrorists will spread out throughout the map. Relics is working on B again. Flowsick and Desi try to close that gap here. That was obvious in the previous round. Relics is already quite low on HP. He needs to watch out. And Flowsick will hunt him down. Again, Flowsick comes in with very impactful frags. He retrieves the AK and gets a second. That shouldn't have happened. The terrorists should have worked together there. Mainline was a little bit too quick to run in and go for the peak, leaving it at a 4v3. Enemy with rotation to the B-bomb site. And Winterfox is still holding with 3 players at A, and Flowsick is alone at B. Now XP3 walks into middle. Will he peek or will he just stay there? Kuster going for the peek with his AWP. Doesn't spot anyone. Very important for Winterfox to not reveal their positions yet. Oh, he kind of fell asleep for a second there. Very, very slow reactions by Kuster. Not really used to that. Especially not by his... I mean, the performance on Dust was so impeccable by him. And there he is, back again with a quick reaction onto Anger. And another quick shot at Lex. Now XP3 will go down too. And it's only Flowsick with that AK. He might try to save it to get some more money in the next round, but they will afford weapons anyway, so he could try and go for it. Make it costly for the terrorists. Didn't happen. Kuster with a quad kill for enemy. When the round was about to slip, Kuster stepped it up and just caught it. It's like somebody falling down and then a hand reaches up or reaches down and catches it, or catches the one falling down and pulls him back up. Kuster caught his teammates and he pulled him back into the round. Can he do it again though? Can Relics come up with any of those big plays that he already managed to achieve? Or will it be Winterfox that comes back into the game? They have the 7-3 lead. They know they have the room for error. Maybe, you know, even if they would lose every single round, an 8-7 on the CT side on cash is not necessarily bad. It shifted into the terrorist favor in the last few months. The teams figured out how to play the terrorist side, so cash went from CT-sided to a little, just a tiny bit terrorist-sided. You can check that on hltv.org if you don't believe me. Anger and company are crammed into the A-bomb, so they are surrounded already, and Anger needs to run away from his position. Still gets the frag as XP3 picks up Uber. It's a 3v3 though, thanks to Mainline, who finally is back on track. Those very important frags on the A-bomb side let him plant the bomb uncontestedly. Kuster and Main still down a man, and Kuster with attack onto XP3, but not the frag, and the CTs can still work with that number advantage. They can send XP3 into C, where the rest is. Mainline reveals his position with a third frag of the round. He gets a fourth as well. Now it's a 1v1. Desi's coming for him, but Mainline picks up the headshot, comes in with the ace, goes big for enemy. When again the round was about to slip away, it's one individual player to step up for his squad and get it on the board. What a great performance by Mainline, who was at the bottom for a very, very long time. But you can see, never judge a player too early, because you never know when they will pull their trigger and explode. Great performance by Mainline in the previous round. Now it's a save for Winterfox, an enemy with a chance to close it to 7-5. Then we will find out if they can turn it upside down and make it 8-7. So easy kills for the terrorists. Desi is the only one with a cheeky idea here. But the longer he takes to go for the peak, the more likely Lucky will turn around and spot him. Or just jump into middle. And there it is. Enemy with almost a flawless round, so their money is getting out of control as well. Winterfox needs to watch out. If they don't win this round, enemy will be off the charts. And Winterfox will have a really hard time winning this half. Even though it's not about winning halves in CSGO. You all know how most maps are CT-sided. Even though Valve did a good job of tweaking Cobblestone especially. So it's a more even map now. At the beginning, I think it was an 80% CT side. So, big shout out to Valve for doing that. I didn't like the changes at first, but now I do. I didn't like Cobblestone at first. I mean, I liked the changes then. I liked the map. Winterfox wants to like Cash as well, but to really embrace it, they want to win this round, and also the map. Mainline was opening it up for the terrorists though, and they take their time now. 56 seconds on the clock. XP3 is alone on B. Winterfox guesses that it might be an A attack, but now a few flashes will go off in middle and tell the CTs a small part of the story that we already know where it will unfold. Will be on the B bomb site. And XP3 can't stop them from clinching it. Kusta intercepts Lex on the rotation movement. An enemy with a 5v2. Desi and Anger need to save. If anything, those two weapons can do some damage in the next round. Maybe even grant them a round win. Winterfox did that already with an AWP and an M4 on Dust 2. When Anger got the triple and... No, Anger did get the double. And XP3 got the triple on the CT side on Dust 2. So those two guns, albeit they might look weak because they have 3 almost unequipped players. Ah, well, the loser bonus. I'm such a dummy. I always forget about the loser bonus. So Winterfox can squeeze out something like a buy. If they save those weapons, but they won't, and that is obviously making it quite hard for them to squeeze it up. 3.7 for Anger. It's yeah, I mean they have to go for it, but you can see the lack of grenades, and that plays a big role. What I don't really like to see, Winterfox buys helmets on 3 players, which they, you know, they could have saved that money. And they have 4 FAMASs, so that's not necessarily strong weaponry in their hands. Enemy tries to capitalize on that, and they just run into middle, and they will be killed off by Lex. Good double kill by him, but now they will remove him. Together, they are strong, and alone they are weak. Flowsick and Desi are alone as well, both on different parts of the map, while enemy is just slowing down for now. They try to cover each other in middle. The smoke is still covering them, but as soon as it fades away, Flowsick could be the game changer. Not quite. Relix was on top of that. He tried to fake the flash grenade, but Lucky has him covered as well. 7-7 now for no team. And I don't know if that's a good sign for the two teams that they managed to win 7 rounds in a row, or if that's maybe a bad sign for the teams. We will find out in this last round. It will decide if enemy came back with 8 rounds in a row, and maybe they can take all that momentum they gathered into the second half here on Cash. It is their map pick, while Winterfox managed to win their own map pick on Dust 2. It is enemy in full control, my friend, at least for now. XP3 and company with a few more fairnesses than Flowstick with a 5-7. He was the guy to not buy a weapon and go for the defuse kit and a few nades instead of it. And the terrorists sneak forward into the B bomb site. Kuster checks even the smallest corner for maybe a rat that hid away there. Good counter execution by the CTs, but the terrorists reacted quickly and covered each other, leaving Anger and Lex with a huge task at hands. A 5v2, and Relics will make it a 5v1. Lex runs into middle with his knife out, and enemy turn this game upside down. They make it 8-7. 17 frags for Relics, 14 for Kuster. They were the main reason why it happened as quickly as it did. Sia vote for Trump, and I hope that you die a slow and painful death for that statement. Winterfox are down the round, but they are on the terrorist side. They have the initiative, and as I already pointed out, it's a slightly terrorist-sided map. You shouldn't even call it sided, but it's an even map. Let's put it like that. Anger is the bulldozer. He's got the Tech 9, and the first damage in favor of the terrorists will make it a little harder for enemy to hold on to that. But look at that stack on the B bomb site. Relics is the only one that could do something about the A execution by the terrorists. Hitting that first shot onto Flowstick, but not the head. So he stays alive, and the CTs have to go for the full rotation. They have 3 players coming in from truck and 2 from the back. The 2 from the back will be the more important ones, but they get covered by Desi already. Good shots onto main, and he delays Lucky a little bit. So enemy with a huge task now. 4v3, 3v3, 3v2. Suddenly Relics and Lucky turn it upside down again, and Relics with another frag, and they just cuddled in the corner. They thought it would be a good idea to have 2 players at the same position, but it wasn't, or at least it isn't, if Relics comes around the corner with a loaded USP. Enemy win the pistol and make it 9-7, which results into 9 rounds in a row. Winterfox refuse to save. It's just like enemy again. They go for the deagles, even though they planted a bomb, and a lot of teams go for a save and then purchase weapons in the 3rd round. And I already said it in the first half, I will say it again. It's a good choice on cash. Winterfox goes for the deagles though, instead of enemy who went for the Tech 9s. So they rather go for a picking game instead of a rushing game. So far it didn't pay off. They didn't even hit a single bullet. Now Anger was the one to win one of those eco rounds on Dust 2. And he had a few chances already, but he just can't connect the bullets. And the CTs just maintain their positions. They try to cover each other in the best possible way, and now it will be the sort of, at least Anger and Desi get the frags. Another one in the A bomb site by XP3, making it a 2v2. This is still dangerous for enemy. After the round started off very, very slowly, it suddenly picks up the pace. Anger in A main will be covered by main line though. Enemy was struggling, but they pick up the team ace. Every single one picks up a frag here. But they suffer a lot of casualties, so Winterfox keeps their money low. And the terrorists will not force it up again. Well, okay. Keep buying. No, they stop. P250s for everyone, no armor on Winterfox. They will try to plant the bomb as quickly as possible. Maybe surprise the terrorists a little bit, and then use the chaos they create to get themselves back on track. Kuster already down, Lucky on the rotation. I showed you the positions of the CTs. They're very far away from the terrorists, and this awards Winterfox with a plant. Surely it will result in the C4 being planted. Desi and XP3, the last man standing. They have P250s, and it will pick up another frag by Desi. Good job by XP3, killing Lucky, making it a 1v1. Relics is a 41. They run into each other, but Relics will prevail. Enemy win another round, and they are well on a good streak here. 11 rounds now.
Bomb has been defused. Counter-terrorists win.
AWP now for XP3. Winterfox is fed up. They just want to get another round. At this point, they are desperate to get it. They will do whatever it takes. 24 frags for Relics, who won crucial 1v1s back to back. Didn't matter on which side, didn't matter in which situation. He really stepped it up. Enemy don't have an AWP yet, so XP3 has free reign over the map. He can pick whatever position he wants to. But maybe not middle. Relics gets boosted up there. And he can be the game changer. Again, he is stepping up. Double frag for him. The terrorists are caught with their pants down. They were peeing in the corner. And then Relics came around just like a cop would and say, well, man, you have to pay some ticket fee. I don't know how much it is in America, or if there is a fee, or if you have to go to jail. But in Germany, it costs, I think, 20 or 50. Why am I talking about that even? Relics with another frag in middle. Flowsick is all alone in mid. He knows where Relics is and finally gets rid of him. But it's still a 1v4. And 30 seconds on the clock. The CTs just need to peek it together. They do so, but Flock... Oh, what? That double spray. First the headshot, then the spray onto main line. 18 seconds. The bomb has been spotted by Uber. He retreats into A. No, did he really? No, he didn't spot the bomb. At least he's not behaving as if he did. Sadly for Flowsick, the time wasn't enough. He will save his gun for the next round. And not only the gun, but also the Molotov and the armor. Oh, he's not going to save it after the time runs out. Huge, huge bummer for Flowsick. He's sitting at 1.8 now. While his teammates could have been able to force it up if he had saved it. They really have to scratch their heads and figure this one out. And they decide to go for only Deagles. That is a huge bummer for Winterfox. A round that they could have put up some resistance ends up being a very weak one. Enemy with the run boost that a German team, I'm really proud of that, came up with. DreamHack Winter 2014, I think. Penta went for that first run boost. If I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not Thorin. He would have known by heart, obviously. Now AWP for Kuster, UMP still for Uber. Enemy knows how desperate Winterfox is. But they also want to get some money. And their money is not looking too strong. So they just want to get some more additional bucks for Uber. And he wasn't able to afford the real gun. And instead of going for an M4 and no armor, or, well, no head armor, no defuse kit and no nades, he rather goes for the UMP. Now he's down to 1 HP, so the armor definitely paid off. Relics though from above. Again, he's raining terror from above. Just like a jet would do on the ISIS. Desi with the M4A1 and the armor, so he can do some damage to the CT still. Danga does so, and a team kill by mainline. He's getting ahead of himself a little bit with that ace he had earlier. Maybe he was, yeah, a little too desperate for frags. 5 seconds on the clock will not be enough for Desi anymore. He sprinted to the bomb plant, but it wasn't enough. And the 1v1 ends in favor of enemy due to Uber staying alive with 1 HP. Now, Winterfox doesn't necessarily have any luck. And then they have bad luck on top of it. I really feel for them, but enemy does a good job. The bomb has been planted in every single round so far, but enemy managed, not every single round, but the 3 first rounds, and they managed to defuse it even though it went down to the wire. And now the time ran out 2 times on the terrorists. Winterfox can still hang on to this game though. It's still not over. Enemies still have to win 3 rounds to win it. And Lex opens up the A-bomb site. Now, there is some chaos in the smoke. Finally, Uber goes down, but only after he took out XP3. Lex and Desi, though, with the frags, making it a 2v3 again. Main is already in A main. Shifting the focus around, and Kusta steps it up with the UMP headshots. Now it's Anger alone against Mainline as he picks off Kusta. And he's in a bad position, though. Mainline can cover him quite easily. But the fish slipped through his fingers, and now he can try to plant the bomb, or at least fake it and play with Mainline a little bit. The CT is going for the far rotation, while Anger still thinks that he could be in main. Anger running into some trouble. 4 HP. He had everything on a silver plate. Mainline was caught off guard for a brief second, but he didn't hit a single bullet. Now it is going to go down the wire, and Anger with the frag in the end. Winterfox win the first round after 13 in a row by enemy. And now 13 in a row for the CTs, and look at their money. They can't afford anything. And that's how close those rounds have been. It looks way more decisive than it actually is, because Winterfox can still start their own comeback. Winterfox knows that they don't have any room for error anymore, and they slow down considerably. Lex with the frag onto mainline. Now Uber knows that there is something up for grabs, and he will kill him as well. Anger with the refrag though, making it a 3v4 again. Main man advantage is restored. Anger makes it 2 men, and Relix is the last man alive. He picked up the AK. He tried to save it in fact, but with the amount of time, it would have been unlikely for him to save it. 22 kills for Anger now. 29 on Relix. Anger had 30 frags in 27 rounds in the first map. Keep that in mind. He already has 22 in 22 rounds. So that's 1 frag every single round. Relix is even excelling at that. Another save round for the CTs will probably result into a 30-10 score. But the CTs have a special idea. Flowsick spots that though, prepares his teammates with a good call. And Winterfox can hold on to their positions. They have 2 players in main, and the rest focuses to close any hole that could be in their defense. The armor gets shut down and reforged. Lex spots outside of the A-bomb site. Gets rid of Relix over there. Uber's already down to 17, so he will be an easy kill. Lucky will be pushed by 2 players. No chance for him. Falls flat on the back. Winterfox make it 10-13. And now we will see another rifle round. It's going to go down to that one. Enemy would not have enough money to buy up in another one. So if Winterfox win this, it's a sure 12-13. And suddenly the pressure is back on enemy. So pressure can do certain things to teams. Either it will make them be very good or very bad. Usually. Sometimes it makes them mediocre, and then, yeah, I kind of dismantled my own point here. Flowsick working on B, just like Relix did for enemy. Relix was a little more successful than Flowsick so far, but Flowsick have. Wow. He had his moments. There we go. Desi controls middle now, together with his teammates. Great headshot by him. Kusta already going down. Not too early in the round, but still enough time for the terrorists to make something happen. 2 CT still in the B bomb site. XP3 quick to reply onto main line. It's a 4v3 now. Lex on the hunt for another frag for his team. And Winterfox in full control of the B bomb site. Uber and Relics. Do they want to retake? Do they want to try to contest this? It would be almost suicidal. Desi is there to make it even less likely. And Relics, the last man standing, gets a few exit frags. The word of the month, or the word of the past month, has been impact. Those frags will not have the biggest impact, but in my opinion, getting exit frags gives your team some more morale, you know, some boost mentally, keeps them in the game, you know. If Winterfox would have completely swept the floor with the CTs, it would have been way cooler for them. Now they realize, oh, didn't get that exit frag, it was kind of bad for us. Or not bad, but it could have been better for us. Maybe it gets in their head if Relics keeps doing what he does. He is definitely the guy that carries enemy at the moment. 10 kills only for Uber, having a rough time here. But the same goes for Main and Lucky still. 12 and 14 after more than 24 rounds. An enemy still doesn't have enough money. Or again doesn't have enough money. Relics with the saved AK alone on the A bomb site while his teammates set up a trap on B. The terrorists will not stick together, and that's, in my opinion, could turn out very badly for them, especially now that Lex is opening up the B bomb site on his own for the first few seconds. Now he's supported by his teammates, but the frags in favor of the CTs looking good though. Kuster with the second one of the ZZ75. Uber with another one. He's stepping it up as if he had heard me say that. XP3 and Desi, the last man around. Desi is now alone. He's popping one more head, but enemy have set that trap. And Lucky will seal the deal. It went down to a 1v1, but it wasn't enough for Winterfox. I think they should have tried to gather some more information around the map. They had so much time, and just going for one bomb site at the very start of the round already and committing to that site in an anti-eco is very dangerous, especially with Relic saving that AK. They didn't even spot for the AK. They didn't try to find out where it is. Could have been way worse even if enemy had that AK on the B bomb site on top of their 4 other players. So another eco upset in this game. We have seen plenty of those already. But Winterfox still have enough money to buy up. And if they win this one, enemy would be back on a save. And Winterfox could still stay on their heels. The terrorists will fake around the A bomb site. Have 2 players in there already, and they will pick up one frag over there, making it even better for the fake. Anger with a second one. Lucky though retaliates with his own double kill. And now it's a terrorist inside the B bomb site, but they get caught in the crossfire. 2v2 now thanks to Flowstick, who drew it back. Lucky and Kuster, the guys who stay alive, and Kuster will pick up the double kill. Enemy with 4 map points to bring us to a 3rd map here in the Gameshow Global eSports Cup. I thank you all for tuning in so far. This has been a great night for me. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I woke up at 4:30 to cast this game. And I hope you guys stay awake, because it's 1 AM for most of you. For some it might still be 11 PM or something around that. I don't know where you all come from, but I hope you enjoy the show nonetheless. Winterfox with 3 AKs, their last hope. A Tech 9 for Lex and a Deagle for Anger. And I think Anger is quite comfortable with the Deagle, so the lack of an AK doesn't really matter to him. Winterfox is committed to the A-bomb side. They will smoke in there. Now let's see what they're up to. Anger with the first frag. Relix is in the same position he used already, but it's still a surprise. A triple kill for Relix in the possibly last round. Now finally he gets traded by Flowstick, but that was a little too less. Oh well, maybe not. 2v2. Lucky is down to 62. The bomb has not been planted yet. And Uber is already in a good position to intercept the bomb from going down. Lucky with another frag. Desi is taken out by Uber as well. And enemy make it 16-11 with 34 frags on relics. He had so many good situations. Two very important 1v1 clutches that he came up with. And I think that enemy should give him an extra beer next time they meet up, because he definitely deserves it today. We will find out who is going to win the best of 3 series on the last map. It's going to be Inferno in just a few moments. I have to catch my breath, and I think the players really need to relax a little bit. Maybe stand up, go outside. That's a technique that I used when I was still actively playing, even though I was playing Unreal for the most part of my career. You know, not looking at a screen for even if it's only 5 minutes will really reset your mind. It will also reset your your body is getting tense because you're sitting like this and you're playing all the time. And if you stand up, take a walk outside, get some fresh air, it will give your brain a small break that it definitely needs after a game like that. So I hope you guys stay around and you don't stand up and take that walk, because we will be back in just a few moments. Thank you for tuning in.